that so you can send your damn army in there to look like they're looking for girls when they're really looking for oil in the oil rainforest. You gotta be strategic. You'll do things like have Barack Obama invite 50 African heads of state to Washington, D.C. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to talk about how we can work together. And while 50 African presidents are in D.C., we want to send the World Health Organization to Africa and pollute the people with a so-called Ebola. We got to be strategic. We can't drop an atomic bomb. And those African heads of state made a mistake. You never leave your country, continent, that leaderless. Every head of state except for a few they don't like President Mugabe, left the home base, came here. So it was wide open season for the Ebola situation. A man-made disease manufactured in your backyard. United States Army Bioweapons Lab, Fort Detrick. That's where they made Ebola. That's where they engineered a population of mosquitoes with the West Nile. That's where AIDS was created. And half the cancers that kill African people come out of that place. This is by design. And why? Because the white man, through his eugenics program, has one goal. It's extermination. And the primary strategy of that goal is to get African people to zero population growth. You have to understand zero population growth. It means we want to create a situation where more Africans die on an annual basis than are born. The minute more of us are terminated than are regenerated, you can predict mathematically with precision the last date of existence for those people. Which means there will come a day where there will be a museum for African people. This is what they used to look like, and this is what we did to them. It's happened before, brothers and sisters. You've had select population of Africans totally exterminated from the face of the earth. So don't think it's a far cry to get at you. In fact, I was reading a book called Death in the Air, written by a white biochemist, one of the best biochemists, who said that there's already an airborne form of Ebola. There's already an airborne form of AIDS. The only reason why they haven't let it out is because they can't control it, and they want to make sure they don't kill the damn self. But if they can control it, they will unleash it. He said there's diseases that will make Ebola and AIDS look like it happened in cold and flu. This is what he does. While you think you're improving race relations, he's trying to exterminate the race. Homosexuality is one of these strategies. Convince the little boys and girls that you might have a better, happier life by marrying somebody who's born with the same gender. Because two boys can't make a child, and two women can't make a child. Homosexuality is African extermination. There's something already understand. Women have abortion. Black women have aborted over 3 million children since 1976. They said the only reason why the so-called Hispanics, most of whom are nothing but Africans with Spanish tongue but don't want to be, the only reason why the so-called Hispanics is threatening to surpass black folks who already have, for that matter, is because their abortion rate is not as high as ours. We have the highest non-white abortion rate in the developed world. We talk about black on black crime. We talk about what's going on in Chicago. We talk about the violence in D.C. Are you aware that we abort almost as many people as we kill on a daily basis? But where's that conversation? Right. Where's that conversation? Mass incarceration, high school graduation tests. Absolutely insane that a child has to prove again that they've met minimum basic skills. If I got straight A's and B's, doesn't that tell you I've met minimum basic skills? Because if it doesn't, then you need to fire the damn teacher, the principal, and the superintendent. But you will give me another test. I got to take the test after I've taken all the tests. Look at that. To see whether or not I meet exit criteria. And why is this popping up now? Zero zero population growth. You only got 1 out of every 4 black boys graduating anyway. Why you do graduation tests? Because they want 0 graduating. They know when the black boy is miseducated and economic castrated, it creates a cycle of desperation that leads to aggravation, that leads to anger and rage, that results in extermination. They know this. That's why the worst violence in America is in the exact same places where you have the highest rate of black male unemployment in this education. Look at it, Chicago. Look at it, Philadelphia. Look at it, D.C. Look at it, Detroit. Wherever the most killing, the least jobs. Wherever the most killing, the worst school system. But nobody links that together. See, when Lucky Luciano was killing, and when Al Capone was killing, and when Meyer Lansky was killing, they said it's because they don't have opportunities. But once the black man started killing, nobody concluded that it was due to a lack of opportunity. Instead, they said it was because of a genetic defect in your DNA. They said the black man kills because he's predisposed to do so. And so back in the 80s, after we fought that off, it went underground and came back in the so-called ADHD. Went underground and came back in the so-called conduct disorder. Went underground and came back in the so-called oppositional defiant disorder. All of these are diagnoses given to fatherless boys. This is a strategy to make money off of single-parent mothers who have been left with the boy because the father has been murdered or incarcerated. Ain't no daddy at home disorder. Running wild every week. There will be no ain't no daddy at home disorder at the Fred Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. Because we would have more than enough real men to be the father figures for our boys. You don't need ain't no daddy at home disorder. We won't need Adderall. We won't need Prozac, Depakote, Risperdal, Cyclone. We won't need them. Those drugs are irrelevant in a healthy environment where children are given the nurture that they need. The problem with our children ain't the child. The reason they got all these deficits is because we, the parents, got all these deficits in them. We don't pay attention to the babies no more. So they go to school looking for it, and instead of diagnosing your sick ass, they diagnose her. I live on a daily basis. But of course, in a capitalist society, you always blame the weakest person. And so the child gets the blame. Not the mother, not the father, not the teacher, not the superintendent, not the mayor, not the principal. If something's wrong, blame the child. Garvey said that we must have an independent political economy. An independent political economy. Some of you was at Power Talk with me last month. June 22nd with Dr. Wilson, Dr. Crowder, Dr. Anderson, and Barbara Gregory. I'm going to be meeting with Barbara Anderson soon. I have to call him. I should have been done. So we can sit down and talk about how the two of us can work together on this economic paradigm to pull us into the 21st century. But in order for us to do that, that means you're going to have to discipline your spending habits. That's right. That means you may have to walk 10 blocks to get a roll of toilet tissue. That might mean you got to wait till Friday to buy some fish. This is not going to be a convenient revolution. Stop looking for easy-ass ways to get out of oppression. But when Beyonce comes to town, you don't try to so don't tell me it ain't because you don't want. Behavior is a function of interest multiplied by value. Behavior is a function of what you are interested in multiplied by what you value. And since you are interested in Beyonce and you value her music, you will travel 10 cities away to get the last ticket. But because you're not interested in African people and do not value our resurrection, you won't leave your front step to help out. It's one thing to take the slave out of slavery. It's something altogether different for you to take it out of yourself. Like Baba Singhal said, don't talk to me about the internal ones. We know that the white man has set many traps for us. We know most of our problems are a direct outgrowth of what he has done and is doing. But that does not preclude the fact that there's some things we can do a little bit better on our own without him. And we got to handle those things. Our spending habits, he doesn't control that. You do. The way we relate to each other as human beings, he don't control that. We do. The way we treat and raise our children, the cracker don't control that. We do. So before we start putting dollar signs to what he owes us, why don't we put some value signs to what we owe ourselves? In order for us to overcome oppression, we have to concede the possibility that it exists. Why am I saying this? Because a lot of us do not believe that it is possible to overcome our current situation. Even within the revolutionary community, the conscious community, a lot of us think the way things are is the way they must always be. For you to concede victory to the white man, for you to concede victory to the white man is to pay a direct compliment to your oppressor as being more intelligent than yourself.
Right.
For him to shut you down psychologically, for him to make you draw the conclusion that you are so great and so indisputable that I need to stop trying whatever I'm doing because you can't be overcome. To do that is to say we are psychologically inferior. To do that is to say that he has already outfought us. To do that is to tell our children that he is God.
Talk, brother.
You must keep your faith. You must keep your confidence. I don't give a damn if the whole world around you is going to hell. You got to believe there's still a chance. Because only with believing it can you achieve it. The greatest victory for the white man is not a few of us killed. The greatest victory for the white man is some of us in jail. The greatest victory for the white man isn't even the petty differences that keep us apart. The greatest victim for the European, the greatest victory of the European is to know he can sleep peacefully at night because black people have made up their minds that he cannot be overcome. That is the greatest victory. To sleep at peace because you know your victims don't even think it's psychologically possible to move you from your position. Look at that. 10% of the world controlling the other 90, not with weapons, but with ideas. The white man's first line of defense is ideology, the propaganda, the religion. And stop saying religion is not political. Religion is the most political instrument. Listen to me. I was raised Sunni Muslim. Mashed in Mecca, 13th and Susquehanna, North Philadelphia. The same mosque that the Nation of Islam owned after Muhammad was assassinated. And then it got converted into the Sunni movement. We were raised and we were taught as children that not only was there no God but God and Muhammad was the messenger, but that the Muslim is a brother to another Muslim before he's a brother to his own flesh. Now, if you caught up in that, that looks real spiritually efficacious. But if you're politically minded, progressive thinking Pan-Africanist, you say, wait, we're teaching our children to be loyal to the Arab by virtue of religious affiliation above and beyond their own kith and kin in their own damn neighborhood. Right. Religion is politics. And we take religion to the 20th power and don't know when to turn it the hell off. It's okay to be religious, but you got to keep it in its place. And that's why in most countries the church is separated from the government. Why is that? Because they don't want the over-optimism of the religious leaders to affect the political strategy of the government. And they don't want the pessimistic attitude of the government to affect the optimism of the church. They want to keep a balance. Now in African culture, it's split. Our government has a spiritual force to it, a spiritual component. When we was in Ghana, okay, now Ketsia, he is the spiritual head as well as the governmental head of the Ahanta people of central Ghana. They're not separated. And we understand why, because in our worldview as African people, there are no divisions between our systems. Even our economic system will serve the ends of Almighty. But although we understand that, we also have to improve upon that to say that one of our weaknesses historically has been believing that we can convert even the worst of people to our way of thinking. And the European would rather think like you because it is not to his benefit. Do you understand that integration to the white man means zero population growth for him? He cannot practice it. It is suicide. Capitalism is the only system for the white man because it is the only system that allows the few to control the resources that are made by the many. So stop trying to get the white man not to be in capitalism. It is the only thing that serves his interests. He doesn't have to change. You have to change. Mr. Gall, he said that if we got to know each other today, we can have a totally different revolution tomorrow. When we was at Kwame Nkrumah's gravesite and went to the National Museum in Ghana, his head was knocked off nearly every other statue we saw of Nkrumah. And the reason why the head was knocked off is because pro-Western forces who were financed by the CIA and FBI to overthrow him, okay, went out of their way to assassinate the image of Kwame Nkrumah in the eyes of the brothers and sisters in Africa. What am I saying? I'm saying that you have to stop giving support to the media campaign against the image of black men and women. Some of you women are giving support by watching Scandal, Basketball Wives, Hollywood. And you say, why don't we be respectful? Look at the shows that you are making popular. Near every one of them shows the black woman as an over-masculinized misfit, unworthy of being married. Every single show. And this is what you watch, and now the girls are watching it with their mama. You are giving silent support to a media campaign designed to exterminate every seed that germinates in you. Right. And the black man needs to understand the same thing. These shoot-em-up flicks, we had Boys in the Hood. That was okay. Then we got Men. It's okay. We'll accept that. Then we got Don't Drink the Juice in South Central. What was that? Have you ever seen a bigger buffoon flick? When you take that back, Soul Plane.
Oh yeah.
And we laugh, and you know why we laugh? Because we know that's not us, so we can laugh at it. But what you gotta realize is when the white boy is in the movies laughing at Soul Plane, he's not seeing it as a caricature of comedy. He thinks this is what you are. And because you know he thinks this is what you are, you can't support none of it. And as far as I'm concerned, television is something we can do without. I didn't say we shouldn't have a monitor.
That's right.
Because there's DVDs that need to be watched and viewed by grandparents and teachers and certain documentaries.
Yes.
I just brought back a documentary on Queen Mother Yaya Santewa in a documentary on the Elmina and the Cape Coast slave dungeon history. So you gotta have a monitor, but television we do not need. And the reason why our children are struggling with their reading skills so much is because they don't spend enough time practicing the art of reading. They have a cell phone, they have a video game, they have an iPad, they got videos. Do you realize the things that you buy your children are instruments that support their miseducation? This stuff you buy. And then you go to the supermarket and pack your cart full of sugar, and the minute he can't sit still, you say it's because he got ADHD. When you feed the boy a steady diet of sugar, 24 hours a day, and then an extra $10 a lunch money so he can go and buy more sugar. The problem of the black boy is not a problem with the black boy. The problem of the black boy is the problem that he needs masculine energy in his life because he's being suffocated by the feminine. Go ahead, man. There's no disrespect to the mothers. We're simply saying that every child needs balance. If there was a war against black women that sent our sisters to jail, then I would be saying what? They need more feminine energy. but the war is against the master. And so mothers, don't be offended when you hear Dr. Umar say, because I see a feminist on Facebook and they love me to death. I'm a feminist dream. 42 kids, never been married, and keep talking about masculine education. We're not saying the black mother is not important. Of course you are. We're simply saying that he needs that other side. And if you don't get him the other side, he will go outside the home and find it. It's called the gang. Gangs are surrogate families. Gangs give our men the structure that you want. Gangs give them the identity that you want. Gangs give them the accountability that you want. And gangs give them the protection that they need. They do it for selfish reasons. Children by nature want the discipline of the adults by nature. And the reason the black community is the way that it is we have allowed the children to rule it when they really don't want to. And until we put our boys back in their place, black men, the black community will never function. Our boys know we scared of them. Them quarter boys in D.C., they know you ain't want to say nothing to them. You scared of them. And if we want to take the hood back, we got to go to the corners ourselves. The police can't stop it because the police won't stop it. It got to be all of us. Right. City by city. And that don't mean we got to go out there and gang buster the joint. We engage them respectfully. But we got to keep in mind two things. Number one, you got to have something for them if you want to. Most of them are only on the corner because there's no other opportunity. So we're not going to play the moral Bible game that says you're doing Satan's work. Because if anybody is doing Satan's work, it's the adults for not creating an alternative. So number one, we got to give them an alternative. And number two, and I hate to say it because I'm a therapist and I want to save everybody, but some of them on that corner, some of them on the corner, can't come home. I'm going to be real. I deal with criminals on the regular. Some of them got to be put down. I'm going to be honest. Some mothers will have to cry. Some fathers will have to cry. And the sad thing about it is not even the child's fault, but we've let some of them go so far away. They ain't coming back. There's a point of no return. Only a few, because most of them we can get, but a few of them can't come. A few more things, brothers and sisters, before I let you go. The word eugenics is like an acronym for me. The word E stands for Ebola. And for those of you who don't really understand what Ebola does to the body, when you get infected with the Ebola virus by the World Health Organization, it liquefies your organs. It's one of the most painful deaths you can experience. It's not like cancer where it's painful but sort of silent. Ebola is almost like the body on fire. It's nothing like it. It's the worst disease out from a pain perspective. So Ebola is the new weapon of choice right now. Now I'm telling you what's going to happen. You heard it here first. You're going to see a few cases of it in American cities. Watch. The World Health Organization. Those of y'all with young children, now is really the time not to immunize your children. This is really the time not to take it off. Because one of our babies is going to get stuck with that Ebola thing. They said that they breathed it in through the air. Then the U stands for the unborn, abortion. We got to have a campaign against abortion, and not a campaign that criticizes black women for making the decision that they had no support when they made, but a campaign that says we understand why you did it last time, but you ain't got to do it this time. We got an alternative. And the reason we don't want to be killing unborn children is we don't know which ancestor coming back in that one. But you abort him every 10. Honorable Elijah Muhammad tried to come back 3 times, but you aborted every 3. Patrice Lumumba may have attempted to reincarnate twice, but he got aborted. Look at the spiritual ramification of getting rid of children who are ancestors seeking to come back and complete a destiny that they didn't finish the first time.
Go ahead, brother.
G stands for gangsterism. G stands for financing. Somebody got the princess. G stands for financing, the gangsterism, and the boys in the hood epidemic that these black men to kill about the government. When I was in Chicago, I heard and read in the newspaper about police who leave guns on the subways in Chicago. This was in the paper. They said the police are putting the guns on the sub so the boys can pick them up and use them against the child. N stands for neutralize any positive African endeavor. The I in eugenics stands for immunizations. Please stop taking them. The C in eugenics stands for chaos. And this is important. The white man loves for black people to fight with each other because his rule only rests on your disunification. And that's why on the other side of white supremacy is black complicity, intentionally or unintentionally, by the fact that what Mr. Garvey called, we are cursed with petty differences. If we don't have a reason to fight, we will find. Now in Africa, there's natural ethnic tensions that exist there that need to be dealt with. When we was in Ghana, we learned that the Ashanti are considered the bullies. And then the other nations, they feel like they're somewhat subservient. Petty differences based on ethnic identity when they all African and came from the same ancestors. We got the same thing here. We got ideological tribalism. Brothers and sisters ready to kill each other over belief. So we have to do something. And then there's the security of genetically deficient people. Everything is about the security of genetically deficient people. The gentrification of Washington, D.C. is due to the need to defend genetically deficient people. Keep in mind, the reason white people build all white communities isn't just because they dislike it. It's because they want to keep their gene pool free from any African contamination. That's why Trayvon Martin is dead. Not because he had a hoodie and some skills, but they want to know how in the hell his parents can even afford to live out here, but we intentionally raise the property value to keep them out of it. And that's why no white person felt remorse because they said, guess what? This was a good death. Because now every other black parent who was to move into a white suburb will think twice if they come with a black border, because they'll get the same thing. Brothers and sisters, we're going back to Ghana next year. We're going back next year. It's Pan-Fest, a Pan-African festival in Ghana. We're also going to be hosting a Pan-African International Youth Conference at Cape Coast Slave Dungeon. The information should be forthcoming within the next 60 days. Start saving your money. Pan-Fest runs from the end of July to the beginning of August, which is basically the time that we went this year. July 22nd, August the 3rd. But my vision is to have a separate trip to South Africa. The trip to South Africa will be the first 2 weeks in July, and then the trip to Ghana will be the second 2 weeks in July, leading into early fall. So you can do South Africa, or you can do Ghana, or you can do both. We was able to keep the Ghana trip down to $3,200 this year. We may have to go up a little bit due to inflation. Okay, the South Africa trip is probably going to be a little higher because the inflation in South Africa, cost of living is almost identical to America. Okay, so you want to pay full price for that. But I'm trying to keep it reasonable. For my brothers and sisters who already went to Ghana with me, they will be given a discount to go this time around. And they will also be given incentives for bringing other people. As this Africa excursion gets bigger, I see the need to scream Negroes who try to come. Because everybody who comes around me ain't necessarily for me. Okay? So what I'm going to ask for brothers and sisters who went to Ghana, I'm going to trust them to help me screen some of the folks who want to come. Now, for those of y'all who already know directly, it's not an issue. But for new faces, you might just got to go through a little something, so I make sure you're cool. Okay? But we enjoyed it, y'all. We went to Elmina Slave Dungeon, Cape Coast Slave Dungeon. We even had a little conference at Cape Coast Slave Dungeon. We all got our African names. The paramount chief of the Ahanta, as I said earlier, Chief Mackenzie V, who was author of a new groundbreaking piece of work called African Culture and Governance. The book is as thick as James Wilson's blueprint for Black Power. He's one of the leading scholars in West Africa. He gave each of us our African names. Mine is Nana Hyena. But Okay? And so now we want to work more with the chief and more with that kingdom and more with that community. Right now we're investigating purchase. We want to buy one of the small little islands that are off the coast of Ghana. We've linked up with some Africans who have repatriated from America. They live there full time. In fact, one couple is from right here in D.C. So they're investigating islands that are for sale, because what we want to do is we want to purchase an island that we will use, okay, as a repatriation site and an expatriate site for those of you who either want to come home to visit or to stay or to study or to develop business. Instead of wasting all that money living in a hotel, you'll be able to come and stay at Hotel Umar. I'm kidding. Okay? But that's what we're trying to set up. Okay? That's what we're trying to set up. A home at home away from this one. Okay? And we'll be looking for people to help us with that. Something else that I want to make sure people do, because school is about to start up. And so in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be having teleconferences with different regions of the National Independent Black Parent Association. So if you did not sign up, I want you to sign up. Some of you may have signed up at Power Talk or some of my other events. If you haven't, please do. You don't have to be a parent application. You just have to be somebody who cares about our children. You don't have to be a parent yourself. I need your name, your phone number, your email, and the committee that you might want to be a part of. There's 7 of them, and I'll keep them brief because I have defined it so often when I come. You should probably know by heart. There's the Parent Advocacy Committee, which will be a group of parents that I will train to accompany our other parents into school whenever they have to go to a meeting. No parent should ever go to a meeting by yourself. You should always have somebody with you. You're talking to a school principal, I know how this thing goes. They will lie to you, they will manipulate you, they will fabricate paperwork on you, they will bully you, and they will make you do something you didn't want to do. So we need advocates who are trained, who know the law, know the process, who can go with you. Some of you might want to be advocates. Then we're going to have a special ed committee to investigate special ed fraud and how they're spending the special ed money. We'll have a school discipline committee to investigate suspension and expulsion and detention in D.C. or wherever you live. And by the way, if you don't live in D.C., you sign up anyway. Why? Because we have to create a parents association where you live. So you say, well, I live in Central Virginia. Put it on here. Well, I'm visiting from Ohio. Put it on here. Wherever you are, if you don't have a parent association already up and functioning, you will help us get it started. Another committee is school finance, to see where the money is being spent, to see how we can recycle some of that money back to you who are doing grassroots work to help our children. Another committee on school policy to change the local operating regulations that are negatively affecting our children. For example, your daughter lives on the east side D.C. You want her to go to school on west side D.C. The principal won't transfer your daughter. The principal says we have a policy that says your daughter has to go to school in her neighborhood even if the school's in garbage. But it's not a law. It's a policy. And we can change it. And then we'll have a social committee to put on positive program for our single mothers and fathers and grandparents who are doing the best they can to raise our children. And then we will have a homeschool committee to help you parents who are homeschooling your children or plan to do so. Organization. What did the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey say? He said the greatest weapon used against the Negro is this organization. Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture. If you organize a lot, you can get a lot done. If you organize some, you can get something done. If you organize a little, you can get a little done. But if you don't organize at all, you get nothing done. And I know a lot of us think that slavery doesn't affect us anymore, but I'm going to tell you the primary medium through which slavery continues to exert effect on Africans in America. And that is by making you totally apathetic, disinterested, and nonchalant to your condition. That is slavery. I don't care if you got a doctorate, I don't care if you got a GED or a PhD, 9 out of every 10 of us sitting in this room are not the least bit interested in doing a damn thing for anyone other than ourselves. That's slavery. Brothers and sisters, I want to close with a quick update. on the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garden School fundraiser. Y'all know that we're still trying to purchase the St. Paul's College in Lawrenceville, Virginia. That has not changed. Okay? That has not changed. The school is still available. And about 2 weeks ago, the realty company representing the school was gracious enough to give my attorney the back title on St. Paul so we can do a full title search. A title search is when you go all the way back to 1888 when the school was founded, and you come all the way up to 2014 to see if there's any debts owed, to see if there's been any type of sanctions, to see if license and inspection has moved out any of the buildings for usage, to see if there's any bad money. This is our way of being protected to make sure after we purchase, we will get hit with a big book from the state saying before you bring any children on this campus, you got $20 million in repairs that got to be made. So we're doing the title search. If the title search comes out clean, we will then look to do a commercial inspection, a geological sample to make sure the soil, if we want to have a farm now, that the soil is there, is usable. To make sure there's nothing toxic there. Because you know white folks love to dump their toxic waste all around historically black colleges. So you got to sample that land, check the buildings out, make sure they're not leaning, falling down, asbestos, lead paint, and y'all know the rest of it. Okay? So we're moving slowly, but we are moving. But nothing is moving more slowly than your damn donation. Yes. Right. Now, I say that sarcastically because I'm not going to complain at all. We've raised $185,000 in 60 days. That's almost $100,000 a month. What can I complain about? We're doing good. I just need y'all to keep on doing it. Stop sending me text messages talking about I've made my donation as if it's a one-time thing. Your donations are not one time. If you gave me $20 this week, I want another $20 next week. If you gave me $100 this month, I want another $100 next month. Don't worry. We are keeping track of every penny that you give me because I want to make sure all of you are giving credit for how much you give us. And when we finally open St. Paul's, when we finally open the FDMG Academy, we're going to have an honorary ceremony to pay tribute to all of you, whether you donated $1 or $1 million. But there will be special honor to those who went above and beyond the call of duty. Our largest single donation came last week, and it was in the amount of $3,800 from one brother from Detroit. Okay? Now I understand that you can't give that much. That's all right. But give what you can. I simply ask that you give me whatever you give to Kareem. Match me dollar for dollar. How much did you spend on your hair last month? If you spent $500 last month, then you owe me $500. If you keep me eating with the Korean, I'm cool. You keep me eating with the Jew, I'm cool. You keep me eating with the Arab, the East Indian, I'm cool. But the penny you give them, a penny more than you give me, I'm not cool with you. I'm not cool with you. And don't think that me taking this principal job in any way whatsoever is going to undermine my focus to get that college. For those of you in here who have been school administrators, you know there's nothing more motivating for you to get your own damn school than to operate somebody else. So trust me, if anything, this is going to make it work even harder to get to school. And so why am I taking it? I'm taking it because I think there's certain people out there with long money who are not yet convinced that I'm serious. And I think that if they see me in operation as a school principal, that might be enough to push them over the line to write that check. And I'm not talking about Russell Simmons' money or Sean Puffy Combs' money. We're not going to get them checks. I'm talking about everyday black self-made millionaires who got money that they know they cannot take to the grave with them, who I think I still need to do a little bit more convincing. Okay? That's why I'm taking the job. Okay? In conclusion, I want to say that you should begin the process of tracing your ancestors. I want to start this sign-up sheet. Don't leave here without signing. Now, everybody's going to sign the sign-up sheet. But some of you actually want to help me organize the parent association where you live. In addition to signing the sign-up sheet, if you want to help Dr. Umar organize the Parents Association where you live, I need you to text my cell phone. I'm going to give everybody my cell number right now. If you don't have it, take out your cell phone or a pen and a piece of paper. Text me. Say it, Bob. What's my number?
215-989-9858.
Give it to me.
215-989-9858.
You get a free t-shirt for that. 215-989-9858. You text me your name, your city, and put Parent Association. That lets me know you want to be an organizer. If you just want to participate, which is fine, sign the paper. And if I get a text from you, I'm assuming you want some responsibility. If you don't want no responsibility, don't text me. You're going to piss me off when I give you something to do and you don't do it. Okay? We cool right now. But don't tell me I can lean on your ass. And when I lean, I'll fall. Some of you have been asking about tracing your ancestors, which is important. Because next Kwanzaa, 2015, we celebrate 150 years out of slavery. In every generation we go, the further we get away from our history. So you need to start collecting your family history. And I want to end on this. Number one, you need to sit at the feet of all your elders and get as much family history as you can from your living elders. I have a confession to make. My great-great-aunt Ruth passed away about 2 years ago. I was supposed to meet with her before she passed. But I got so caught up in speaking and organizing that I didn't get a chance to meet with my Aunt Ruth before she passed. Rest in peace. Aunt Ruth was the family historian. And so I just lost 100 years of history because I procrastinated. Your grandma is older, you better get to it. Your grandfather's on his last leg, you need to get to him. Get to all the elders and ask them what was their parents' names, where were they born, birthdays, death dates. If you know the name, if you know where they were born, if you know where they died, if you know their birth date or their death date, you can trace your tree back. Also, get in contact with the African American Genealogical Society. AAGS, most cities have chapters. I was told that y'all have one in D.C. They will help you trace your ancestors for free. AAGS. Okay? Also, the library is a good source of information. If your ancestors were famous, if they were known in the community, it is very easy to trace them. You can start with newspapers, magazines, periodicals. If they belong to a certain church denomination, visit those churches and see if they keep their own genealogical records. Also, every county has a historical society. Every county in America does. You visit the historical society. Also, biostatistics is another place. Most counties have the genealogical society on top, but separate from the historical society. If your ancestors were in the Civil War, like mine were, or any war for that matter, and you live in D.C., you're in good shape because there's an entire repository of information on veterans of the United States Armed Forces. So if your great-great-great-grandfather was a Civil War veteran like mine was, it will be a lot easier for you to get this information because the Army kept it. Okay? Get to your research. Put the family trees together, not just for knowledge itself, not just for history, not just for culture, not just for your children, although those reasons would be sufficient enough, but also for your spirituality. Your ancestors help you when you call on them, but how can you call on someone who you don't know? So start putting the tree together. Upcoming events for me. Saturday, I'll be in New York City, celebrating the centennial of the UNIA ACL, Audubon Ballroom where Malcolm was assassinated, 12 to 3 panel discussion. Sunday, August the 17th, Mr. Garvey's Earth Day, I'll be at the Lauderdale Lakes Library in Fort Lauderdale, Bobo Shanti Rastafari, they're having their Marcus Garvey celebration. From there, I go to Miami. I speak in Miami the 22nd and 23rd of August. There will be a youth conference in Riviera Beach, Florida on Wednesday, the 19th of August. I will be in Nashville, Tennessee for the first time at this university, Tuesday, August the 26th. I will be in Dallas speaking at a prison in Tyler, Texas. It's going to be a one-day prison conference. They allow me to come into the jail. Bless them. Okay. We're going to have a one-day conference in the prison on Sunday, September 7th. I will be in Akron, Ohio, Sunday, September 21st. Memphis, Tennessee. I will be speaking at the University of Memphis, an event being put on by the National Association of Black Journalists. That event is on September the 18th. I will be at Georgia Southern University on Saturday, September the 20th. I will be in Bahamas, speaking from the 23rd to the 26th. I will be in Jamaica, Queens, New York, September the 27th, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity, and one of the churches is putting on the State of the Black Male Conference. Sacramento, California for the first time, October 3rd and 4th. Newberry, South Carolina, I will be there October 11th and 12th. Los Angeles Ebonics Conference. If you've never been, this is quite a treat. Some of y'all know our elder, Brother Ernie Smith. He's the foremost African linguist in America. He's been hosting a Ebonics Conference for well over 10 years. It will be held on Saturday, November the 1st, Charles Crew, Los Angeles. And then I'll be in Norfolk, Virginia for ASCAP, the Association for the Study of Classical African Civilization, Regional Conference, Norfolk, Virginia, November the 15th. I'll be in Haiti, November the 20th and the 23rd, Elizabeth, New Jersey for Kwanzaa on the 26th, Greensboro for Kwanzaa on the 27th, Jackson, Mississippi for Kwanzaa on the 28th, and somewhere in there, I will run my school. In conclusion, my ancestor Frederick Douglass said, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Some of you asked about my book. I have it up here. DVDs, t-shirts, buy one, support the fundraiser. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. Those who profess the faith of freedom and appreciate agitation are like men who want crops without blowing up the ground. They want rain, but can't stand the thunder or the lightning. They want the ocean, but can't deal with the awful roar of its waters. Frederick said the struggle we have might be moral, or it might be physical, or it might be both moral and physical, but it must be a struggle. He said, for 20 years I prayed on my knees to God for freedom. And the good Lord gave me no freedom until I got up off my knees and started praying with my feet. He said, if you want respect, stop looking for pity. The man who respects you has no need for pity. And the man who pities you will never, ever respect you. He said, men may not get all they pay for in this world, but you must certainly pay for everything that you get. Brothers and sisters, make no mistake about it, it's our time now. The European has had his 500 day is over. We ain't going to sit by and let the Chinaman take over from the white man. It's time for the African to handle his business. One guy. Going around.